Nice. Hake is live. I see me. I see the tweet. I see me on Periscope Mixer. And D Live is connected now. Facebook is live. What's up, guys? It is. What's up, YouTube? It is Friday, May 22nd, 2020. And I will be taking your calls. It is, by the way, Jesse Lee Peterson's birthday. Happy birthday to Jesse. Right on. That's cool. And I should be streaming on Twitch. I stream on 6 platforms, unlike Jesse, who only streams on 4 because he got hate speech attacks, which is false attacks, of course. But I just wanted to make sure that we're going. I have an interesting little fun clip for you to play, and then we'll get on with the show. And hopefully there are no drops, but if there are, you'll just know what happened, right? It's an act of God. God implementing the jump cuts into my stream. All right, let's do this.
I think it's another day. I had a 2-week regimen of hydroxychloroquine, and I've taken it, I think, just about 2 weeks. I think it's another day. So, and I'm still here. I'm still here. And I tested very positively in another sense. So this morning, yeah, I tested positively toward negative, right? So, no, I tested perfectly this morning. Meaning I tested negative.
I love Trump.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, what's up, guys? I am James Hake. This is the Hake Report. As you know, it's Friday, May 22nd, 2020, live in the beginning of the 9 a.m. hour of Los Angeles, right? Today, here in Los Angeles. Shout out to everybody on YouTube and Facebook and D Live. And I saw some people on Twitch. I gotta make somebody mods or something. Or maybe give Nick the login so he can fix it and make it fancy. Because you guys want emotes. What's up to people on Periscope? That's nice. Appreciate you guys joining everywhere. That's cool. So, I will be getting right to your calls in a sec. But first, I wanted to cover this story that I forgot to mention. I mean, I mentioned it. I alluded to it yesterday. But I didn't read the details to you, and I want to now. Shout out to my second de facto producer, spoiler alert, for these tips. Germany makes burning the EU flag punishable by up to 3 years in jail. So ridiculous, huh? I laugh because it's already gone. Germany's already gone. Although there are some people who are for what's right over there, I think. I have to imagine, right? But it is pretty far gone. This is from BBC World News, a tweet from them. Germany has made burning of the... Did I give you this? I gave you a couple of these headlines with the pictures. Germany has made public burning of the EU flag, or that of any other country, actually, punishable by up to 3 years in jail, classifying it as a hate crime. And Joel is showing you a picture of... And it's an AFP picture. That's the far-left French outlet that, for some reason, we share the news from it. Protesters burning in EU. EU is the European Union, and it is has been a headache for a lot of countries, such as the UK, which passed Brexit to exit the EU, get Britain out of the EU. But they were burning the EU flag in Cyprus, which is a island country, in 2013. But that is not allowed in Germany anymore. The vote in Bundestag Parliament on Thursday makes defiling foreign flags equal to the crime of defiling the German flag. I didn't even know it was a crime, to be honest. The same applies to the EU anthem, Beethoven's Ode to Joy theme. I didn't know that that's the EU anthem. Wow. Was Beethoven that bad of a guy that they had to take his song? I wonder how he would feel about it. The move followed Social Democrat, SPD, complaints about protesters' burning of the Israeli flag in Berlin, 2017. Justice Minister Christine Lambrecht, a member of the so-called center left, which is BBC's term, which really means far left, maybe not as extreme far left as some of the others, but they're far left. They say center, that means far left. Said burning flags publicly has nothing to do with peaceful protests. Wrong. It is a peaceful Well, it is a peaceful protest. She said it stoked up hatred, anger, and aggression and hurt many people's feelings. Women. The new law applies to acts of defilement besides burning, such as publicly ripping a flag up. Public display of the Nazi swastika, though, and Nazi symbols is banned in Germany because there's the so-called hate symbols, even though the people hating the Nazis are hateful every bit as much. Right? Yes, that's right. They say the far right alternative for Germany, AFD, the F is lowercase, alternative for Germany, they're called far right by BBC, which probably means they're like center right, is my guess. Maybe even if that, right? Maybe they're pro-white. I don't know. I don't know much about them. I've heard about them, but I don't know much. Has condemned the new law, rightfully so, as excessive interference in free speech and artistic expression. They're right about that. The act of defiling the Union flag in the UK is not a crime. By the way, speaking of another country, the UK, you can burn the flag. But France has made, at least the Union flag, the European Union, I guess. France has made desecration of the tricolor punishable by tricolor means their flag, I think. France has a boring flag. I think it's just 3 colors. Sorry, French. It's your fault. Or at least your ancestors' fault. Punishable by a fine of up to 7,500 euros or euros, which is 6,600 pounds or $8,000 or 6 months in jail. Jail. Ridiculous. Spain, Italy, and Greece also have laws banning the desecration of the national flag. In America, you can burn the flag. Although we should probably deport everybody who does, because unless it's like a real American somehow, somebody who actually loves America and is like protesting the destruction of America. But haven't really seen that. Most of the time, the flag burners are like Antifa, Democrats, people who hate the country. Sometimes it has been, I think, Bernie supporters burning the flag outside. Did they burn the flag outside of the Democrat National Convention in 2016 when they were putting in Hillary over Bernie? They cheated Bernie. Freedom fries. Yeah. I mean, I guess the French flag is mildly attractive. Beats the LGBTQIA flag. Burning that's going to be definitely a so-called hate crime. Ridiculous. Why not believe in freedom? What's happened to the whites? What's wrong with the whites? I think I might start a rap song. Joel did a rap song called "What's Wrong with the Blacks? What's Wrong with Them?" or something like that. I'm butchering it, right? But pathetic. So-called European Union, right? Anyways, I just wanted to make sure that I got that to you. Joel played for you the clip. Drudge reported, Trump says, I tested positively toward negative. I love this man. That was from Daily Mail. He said, and I tested positively in another sense. He's been taking that hydroxychloroquine, which people are outraged. Trump said, yeah, I tested positively toward negative, right? So I tested perfectly this morning, meaning I tested negative. Right on. I have a couple more tips that I want to share with you real quick. Beginning May 18th. So at the beginning of the Jesse Lee Peterson show today, in the first hour, we played replays. And we played this, wasn't it the illegal immigration? Yeah, we played illegal immigration debate first hour from 1999 with this man named Prince, I think is his last name. And then he was like one of the writers, Ron Prince, I guess was his name, who was behind the 1994, I think, California Proposition 187. And it passed. The state of California, the voters passed this Proposition 187 in California. And the proposition basically said, no welfare for illegal aliens. Isn't that nice? And I don't know what all it involved. If it meant give no free education, I don't know. No emergency room service. I don't know. I don't think that they would do that because that's not politically correct. But basically, it passed. We passed it at a margin of like well over 50%, maybe even closer to 60, maybe even of over 60% voted for this law. It was never enforced by the Attorney General. Reminds me, honestly, of Prop 8 from, I think, 2008, when Californians elected Barack Obama, but they also passed Prop 8, which says marriage is between a man and a woman. One man, one woman. That's what marriage is. Well, that was never enforced by the stupid liberal Attorney General. Attorney General is the top law enforcement official, so-called, in the state. Top meaning the top of the trash pile, evil. And some dumb judge or multiple dumb judges, you know, I'm sure the ACLU for this prop, actually both, ACLU was involved probably in both, suing, and a bunch of far-left, anti-American, anti-Christian, anti-white, anti-everything good people sued to prevent this new proposition from being enacted, this law that the people passed, the people, not the politicians. A politician wrote it, maybe. Different from 187, which is murder, the police code for murder. We're not Snoop Dogg here in California. We're not all, well, now I guess we are, because we let the illegals stay. We let the homeless people stay. We let the COVID in, and now everybody's dying. We let the typhoid or typhus, what a mess. But that was Prop 187, and it was, the courts basically said, oh, this is unconstitutional. So lame, huh? Evil. And, well, now we have a law in California being passed, or I don't know if you would call it a law, but beginning May 18th, this is according to the California Department of Social Services. California is apparently giving $500 to illegal aliens. I have it. It's in the official, I have the screenshot of the site, I think. COVID assistance for coronavirus, COVID-19, disaster relief assistance for immigrants. This is the California Department of Social Services. In response to the COVID-19 outbreak, California is providing one-time state-funded disaster relief assistance to undocumented adults. How are they going to know that they're undocumented unless they are documented? Which means they're not undocumented, they're just illegal. Who are ineligible for other forms of assistance, including assistance under the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act and pandemic unemployment benefits because of their quote-unquote immigration status, meaning they're here wrongly. They need to be kicked out of the country. And I have friends who are illegals, but they need to get kicked out. It's not right for them or us or anybody. But the Democrats don't care about what's right. That's California for you. And the rhinos are too weak to just come out and say it anymore. What's wrong with the whites? This state funding is expected to reach 150,000 so-called undocumented adults. This is like the California website, encouraging and enabling and kissing up to lawbreakers. The California Department of Social Services selected 12 immigrant-serving nonprofit organizations, immigrant serving, to help individuals apply for and receive this disaster relief assistance in their region. An undocumented adult who qualifies can receive $500 in direct assistance, with a maximum of $1,000 of assistance per household. What a mess. That's that. Ridiculous, huh? And then you have people like Earl, who supports Democrats and pretends he loves blacks. I don't know if he pretends that he loves blacks. Maybe he knows. Maybe he well knows that he doesn't, because, you know, he's always talking mess about Jesse Lee Peterson. And anybody who talks mess about Jesse Lee Peterson does not have love for blacks. That's for sure. Or anyone, really. So, you know, before I get to calls, I have to show you this one. I don't really know. Call me petty if I'm petty, but this is ridiculous. Also, courtesy of, spoiler alert, Crayola announces new Colors of the World crayons to help them advance inclusion within creativity. Colors of the World. Isn't that disturbing? Dude. Okay, so like we never had skin color, right? We use peach for white people. If I was white, so I'd use peach. But they have like, okay, I'm showing you a picture. If you're listening on the podcast, I'll describe it for you. It has a disturbing image of a whole bunch of rows of you know what crayons are, or Crayolas? Get your Crayolas out. Those are the coloring things, and it's pointy, so it looks like fencing or I don't know what, spikes. And then on the middle, it has all these children's hands, blacks, kids, presumably a white kid or two or three, or maybe four max, some brown as in Latino kids, maybe an Asian. I don't know. You can't really tell, right? But all their hands are together, kind of like when you do this 1, 2, 3 break. They do that type of thing. And then it says Colors of the World, and it has all these POCs and a redhead boy. Oh, and a blonde guy. Crayola Colors of the World, crayons for 24 specially formulated colors representing kids of the world. And that's reflecting the diversity, the browning of America. What a disgusting thing. And it's encouraging, I don't know, it's encouraging kids to be basically anti-white, really. When it comes down to it, that's what it's doing. What are some of the names of these colors? Do you want to say anything about this, Joel? To me, it's just gross, kiss up, mess.
It's just ridiculous. It's crazy how these things are allowed to be put into motion, but yet Jesse can't say one thing about Obama.
Right.
You know, it's just
and
like,
you can't have White History Month.
Right. It's like, but you could be everything against white people, or, you know, it's just so backwards.
Yeah, there is this pretense that this is all feel-good stuff, that there isn't really an attack on whites. There isn't really this hatred that's encouraged against whites. This prejudging every time there's a white on black incident, that it's motivated by hatred towards blacks, as opposed to just trying to enforce the law.
Right. It's like, it's so like turned against one thing, and then everything is pointed to that's it. It's just like a false sense of what is right. Yeah, it's
Satan does this. He comes as the angel of light, right? Is what we've heard. It says that in the Bible, I think. And I've noticed that everything that the liberals are about, or whatever these disgusting evil people are about, or anybody who's evil, really, they all think that they're right. Anybody who's angry is self-righteously angry. They think it's righteous anger, right? They think they're justified in it. And these people who are pushing this so-called diversity, right? Because in the kingdom of God, color doesn't matter, right?
Right.
But they're skipping the God part.
Right.
It's the kingdom of Satan. Color doesn't matter there either.
Right.
And they're just doing this false imitation of the kingdom of heaven, where we can be diverse and celebrate our whatever.
Right.
But really, they're leaving out the morality because they're supporting
Right.
everything evil, the
Right.
LGBTQ stuff,
That's what's so
socialism.
crazy. They're like, it's like, and I think that's why it's progressing, like you say, is that everybody's believing that that's right. So even though they're angry and stuff, everybody's believing that's right. And it so happened that majority of people are angry and they're believing that wrong is right.
Yeah.
But that's why we have the law that says everybody has a right to speech, even if you're wrong, whatever
Right.
the case is. So it's like, that's why that law is there. So then we could be reminded that even though if we believe this is right, it could be wrong, but we still have a right to say it.
Yes.
But now that's going.
Yep. It's crazy. It's that false love, which is really hate. It's that mother thing,
It's
where
crazy.
you're supporting people who are wrong
Right.
because let's have mercy,
Right.
and really, and then you're punishing the people who are following the law. It's crazy. And people who may think, because I can understand, I can just picture conservatives or whites get triggered by the Crayola colors that just
Right.
happen to have non-white colors, right? Non-white skin colors. But that's dumb because
Yeah.
what we just pointed out, you can't dispute that that Crayola represents this false feel-good version of love where they don't actually have love for whites. They don't actually have love for blacks. All this Ahmaud Arbery stuff, they are making excuses for glossing over the fact that he was acting erratic
Right.
throughout his life.
And they don't even admit to that. They won't even
Yeah.
acknowledge that part.
Right.
So that's what, makes you believe that how much really is an act.
Yeah.
Because why aren't you being entirely truthful? You can believe that, the other people were wrong.
Right.
But why not just take the responsibility of what you did wrong?
Yeah.
You know?
You can blame both sides.
Right. It's okay to blame both sides.
Yeah. That's why we need to victim blame.
Yeah.
Because pretend that Ahmaud was a victim. He could have taken steps to avoid being victimized,
Right.
or at least avoid getting
Right.
sharing some of the blame.
Right. But
Crazy. Anything else?
just the fact that, and this is one little quick point, is that, like, everybody knows if somebody has a gun,
Yeah.
that no matter what, right or wrong, if you don't want to die,
You put your hands up.
just
Freeze.
put your hands up. Right. And then there's ways you can even, there's wisdom that will be given to even deal with that.
Yeah.
If you need to blah, blah, blah. But it's just not common sense
Yep.
driven.
Crazy. Well, I did comment on. I said maybe he listened to that movie, The Irishman, in the previews to the movie, The Irishman. This guy who I think he played Scarface, did he? I don't know. But this guy, right? He's this old guy. He charges a guy who has a gun, but he has like a fake gun or something. And he charges the guy. He said, with a gun, you charge. With a knife, you run.
Oh, yeah.
So he punched the guy, and somebody got the gun away from him, and so he survived. But Ahmaud, it's not the movies, Ahmaud.
I know it's not. That's the thing right there. Is like that logic doesn't make sense to me. If you go towards it.
Well, I mean, if it's a mass shooting situation, I guess you let's roll type of suicide mission.
Well, that's why I say, like, there's wisdom into even dealing
Exactly.
with those situations. It's like, okay, well, in
Yeah.
this situation, we gotta. It's just a mess. It's just a mess.
He was acting suspicious. I'm gonna get to this. Racism has been declared a public health crisis. I don't know if Jesse Lee Peterson covered this in the biggest Ohio county, right? The most populous Ohio county, Franklin County. I'm gonna get to that. But first, let me get to some calls. My favorite caller. I have a lot of you guys to get to. Maze out of Dayton, Ohio. What's up?
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, James.
Hey.
I wanted to tell Jesse happy birthday since since Joel messed up the song, I thought he was a rapper and knew how to lead people in the sing, and it was all over the place. So I'm going to do my Marilyn Monroe happy birthday to Jesse. Happy birthday to you.
That's sweet. Appreciate that, Maze.
And also,
I will pass that along.
Okay, and now to get to...
But I'll
was
say it
just
in
gonna
my
say
manly voice.
I celebrate birthdays. I do not celebrate the pagan days. So if somebody's birthday, I enjoy it. Other
Right
stuff
on.
and go put in the trash. But the conversation that you're having,
Yeah.
and I have a question for you, James.
Okay.
Have you ever seen this how do they do it, this pass around? Blacks are killing blacks. Have you ever seen or heard in the news where a black person killed somebody and they didn't go to jail and they was having a fit about it?
Yeah, I have.
When?
Well, you're talking about black person has killed somebody and they didn't go to jail, and who was having a fit?
Anybody.
You
they
know,
were
there are
protesting
people
and all
who
of
are
that.
upset about, you know, the unsolved murders in
I'm not discussing unsolved murders.
where we know who did it?
No. Like if say they always screaming that same rhetoric, blacks killing blacks.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen on your news media,
Mm-hmm.
on your talk shows, where a black person killed somebody and they got off or they were arrested
Right.
or nothing happened to them and they were protesting about it?
I have not. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, because I know that most blacks get away with murder in Chicago, for example.
I'm not saying what get away with. I'm saying being arrested.
Never been arrested.
They were
Have not been arrested.
and they overlooked it. That's the problem with the brainless people that don't understand when you see people protesting about people committing a crime and they're not getting arrested. It had nothing to do about what other people are doing with other people.
Are you talking about the Ahmaud Arbery case?
Anytime. Not only him, anytime when you hear those words. And then another thing, do you think...
But you acknowledge that blacks get away with murder more than anybody, right?
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
Serial killers get away with murder more than anybody because they kill a whole lot of people. But that's not
No,
why
but blacks get away with murder more than anybody. Serial killers are there's not very many.
What do they do? A murder is a murder. And then my last question...
I know,
to
but
you,
blacks get away with murder, and then the blacks who get murdered by those blacks who get away with the murder, they never get justice.
I have another question.
Did you know that?
They get away with murder.
Yeah, the blacks who kill the blacks, they get away with the murder, and the blacks who get killed by the blacks who got away with the murder, they never get their justice.
Really?
The families never get justice.
I think they go to prison.
No, they never go to prison because they got away with it.
Okay, if you say so.
And the blacks who get killed don't go to prison because they're already killed.
My next question for you is this
Unless they were
corona,
killed in prison.
with this virus that's going around,
Yeah.
that they're trying to convince a certain group of people that they're dying. How many people are living that had it and was like in critical condition? Do you know? And then they still alive. Do you know how many people?
You know, I don't know.
happened to-
I've read the news that the CDC is claiming that the death rate of those who experience symptoms, mind you, is about 1%, supposedly. That's what the CDC claims. They're the government Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
I'm saying how many critical people that live.
Oh, people who
Tell about it.
go into
Not those
critical
that died
condition and
from
then
it.
they live. I don't know.
That's
But
what I'm
I
saying.
hear,
But it's strange to me.
I hear, Maze, that it's
think
pretty
what-
crazy. It
Okay,
can
let me
really
tell
mess you up.
What's strange to me with this bigoted mess we hear? More black people are dying from this than anybody. And then, but you can't tell us how many people are
You mean
living
per
from it.
capita, right? Per capita.
Whichever or whatever
yeah,
they say.
yeah.
It's a lie, and we're not going to believe it.
Oh, you don't believe
No,
that
I
blacks are
won't.
suffering? Hold on.
Excuse me?
Are you saying that you don't believe that blacks are suffering disproportionately from the COVID?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Because if it's something that you can't find a cure for, and you got everybody it's going around to anybody.
Yeah.
Why you got to pick one group of people to say that they're suffering more than anybody else?
You
Well, I
know,
didn't do
you
that.
know the people who are pushing that story is the liberal media.
I don't care who pushes
Take
it.
your beef with
They
them.
need to stop.
But I believe it because blacks oftentimes have, disproportionate obesity or
Don't tell me about no
asthma
obesity.
problems and stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying. That's the excuse you come out with.
No,
So if
it's
it's a
not an
disease
excuse.
and it's
It's
going to harm somebody and it's
that's
killing
why I
people, it's
believe that it may be true.
everybody. What?
I said it's why I believe that it may really be true.
Well, I don't believe that it's true. They always sticking something. Everything that come out, we are the biggest part of it. Except you can't tell us.
Well,
how many people are living
congratulations,
from this.
Maze.
You gonna tell us how many-
Congratulations on not being a sucker for once from the
They
liberal
can save
media.
it. They can save it. I'm not a sucker at all because when I hear all the
I
other
don't
stuff
believe
you're
that.
talking about,
You're a sucker because you don't.
You're being a sucker
Well, whatever.
because you're being a sucker unless you go up there and get that president that medication.
It reminds me of
and it
when she
came from a
says sucker.
pharmacy and we were standing there together, give it to him.
It reminds
I
me of
believe
Mr.
that too.
T. Sucker.
So y'all have a good day.
All
and
right.
tell them to stop that rhetoric because we don't want to hear it. Every community's got it, and every community's dying. Fat, skinny, and just like you go over to China, they don't look like us, and they dying from it. So
I
tell
have
them
a
to get
text
those
from Bible
together.
Go-To Guy for you.
What?
I have a text from Bible Go-To Guy.
Go-to guys messed up. So
Would you want to
what's
hear the
up?
text?
Sure, since he want to be important.
Regarding your getting away with murders situation, right? He said, that's easy. In Detroit and Chicago, they have plenty of murders without any arrests, and it's black on black crime.
Yeah, tell Baba go to the medical capital of the country and see where it is, and it's not in Detroit or Chicago.
Why would you tell him to go there?
What?
Why would you
And
tell him to go there?
Because I want him to explain it, since he's already trying to explain stuff to people of color.
All right.
So he can
Thank you,
find
Mace.
himself within the picture himself. And that crayon that you was discussing, you don't have to paint yourself pink anymore. You can paint your true color. That's the way I see it.
I know. I was looking at it. I'm probably that light golden.
So that's what I'm saying. So you can find it and paint it.
Or
And the
when I'm
kids that's growing
jaundiced,
up
it's
can find
light
the color
almond.
and paint, and they don't have to mix paint and do it together.
I'm never jaundiced,
So it could
hopefully.
be something good.
Thank you, Mace.
Because there's no white people, no red people, no
Yeah, they
yellow
are.
people.
No. Let's call them the simple
So
terms.
you have a good one, and
All
happy
right.
birthday, Jesse, and enjoy your day.
Right on, Mace. Thank you. I'll pass that along. Take care. I wanted to get to Robert out of Pasadena, California. Robert, it's good to hear from you. Thank you for calling.
Hello, Hake.
Hey.
Good to hear from you, too.
Right on.
I had told Nick I wanted to talk about another topic, but since listening to you, I wanted to talk about some other things,
Okay.
which is that I think you're right that Europe is pretty much gone. I mean, I think, like, England is a question, like Britain is a question mark, but, like,
Yeah.
in Germany, someone in the Bundestag, the parliament, she was like, eventually, soon, Germans will become a minority in their cities, and das ist gut. And she's like, they're all clapping. It's like, it's insane. It's like crazy. Like, could you imagine Turkey, like someone in the Turkish parliament going,
Yeah.
one day the Turkish people will be a minority in Istanbul, and that's as good, and they're all clapping. It's insane.
That's true.
Insane.
But you know what? I want to take that back because, as they say, it's not over until the fat lady sings, proverbially. And
Yeah.
so there are people, there is this, and I don't know much about them. I don't know if they really stand for what's right or if they're angry whites or what, but they're called the
Yeah.
Far Right Alternative for Germany, right?
Yeah.
AFD. And
Yeah.
I think it's Alternative for Deutschland, something like that. It's
Yeah,
probably.
Deutschland.
But they condemned that, and there's a few standing for good, right? And God promised to Abraham that he wouldn't destroy Sodom and Gomorrah if he could find 10 good men, which he couldn't even do that. And so it's not necessarily over. Let's not give up on them. But it is, it's so ridiculous how far they've fallen.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to give up totally, but I mean,
Yeah.
I've never been there, so
Nice.
I can't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
for sure. But
Right.
From what I've heard, I've heard way more negative than positive.
Yeah.
But that was just a little throw. But the thing is, in California, that thing you played, the replay of the illegal immigration debate on
Yeah.
Jesse's show,
Mm-hmm.
that was a year before I was born.
Wow.
And it really showed me like this really predates me, and I feel like it's gotten worse. Like
It has.
we haven't even been going in the right direction.
Yep.
And the point of that is that you said Californians passed it,
Yeah.
but the judges overruled it or whatever, and the
Yep.
attorney general didn't pass it. And I think a lot of that has to do because they don't worry that they're going to be booted out of office. Because
Yeah.
they know they're just going to be elected again the next time around.
And they stay
So-
paid. Yep.
So my point being is that my fear is that we're going to continue to be going in the wrong direction. And once Texas goes blue, which I think 2035 or so it will, when it goes blue, that's going to be true for the White House. They're not going to have to worry about doing anything wrong because they know that they're just going to be put in office again next time around. So I'm worried about that. I'm worried that it's not going to matter what happens with Trump because once Texas goes blue, they're just never going to have to worry about answering to the constituency because they're always going to be put back into office.
For
What do you
one,
think of that?
I agree we should not so-called put our hope in Trump or anybody else. I'm happy that Trump is in there, and that is a positive sign. That's a glimmer of hope. That's a spark of courage in America. That's what he represents in my mind. Courage and truth-telling. It's so refreshing.
I agree.
We don't know what's going to happen in 2035. Yes, whites are going in the direction of minority, but we don't know what's going to happen. Anything can happen. Stuff can turn around. It can get way worse. It can get way better. I say we not try to predict the future, but just trudge along as Joel mentioned, wisdom. Joel mentioned wisdom in terms of what you do with a person when you're confronted by a person with a gun, whether a bad guy or a good guy. But I'm talking about wisdom with like, let's live our lives right. And as you do that, you become powerful. And you can actually have influence that you don't even imagine. And so let's not give up on Texas. There are decent people fighting for Texas. Alan West is a man whom I respect from everything that I know about him. He was a colonel, and then he was a Florida U.S. representative from Florida, Republican. He is black, but he's like a solid dude. And I have to say, but with the black, unfortunately, because blacks are so far gone. But there's a few waking up. We don't even put our hopes in the blacks waking up. We put our hopes in like God and doing what's right. And then there's going to be, let's call them, I hate to use the word allies, because allies has allies always been evil? But allies means like an ally, which is really a wolf in sheep's clothing pro the gay community, right? Which is the worst thing for the gays. But let's talk about true friends. You're going to find true friends from all sorts of different places. They're going to pop up from anywhere, and it only takes a few people of decency. It used to be more of a military term, World War II, and even that, people say that the Allies allied with the commies, and so. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know nor really care about history that much as opposed to knowing the present reality. Yes, it's good to know history. It can inform you, but we've learned a bad version of history. We have a bad fake news push.
That's for sure.
Let's stick with reality, what we can see, and not listen to experts and not listen to the doomsayers so much, even though some of the doomsayers really do care about the country too. So that's what I say. Appreciate you, Robert.
Thank you.
Take care, and I'll talk to you again.
You too.
All right.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay. Oh, man. Joel says the gays are taking over language. Yeah, it's true. Man, what a mess. Let me read a few super chats. Dark Side of the Bear, what? Says... Got my Hake merch, amazing shirts. Thank you. And she says, get a job is the man. Shout out. By the way, I'm wearing Rebuilding the Family by Rebuilding the Man. That's a Bond Teespring shirt. Rebuildingtheman.com/stores. Okay? FYI. Beard the Butcher, good man, says Rodney King didn't even die, and look what happened. Yeah, when he was beaten. He was beaten, right? Yeah, he died in a swimming pool. Years later. Did you know that Jesse Lee Peterson interviewed Rodney King a couple years before he died, or a year or so before he died? FYI. Maybe we can dig up that old interview. It was from like 2011, or I don't remember when exactly he died, but I was a listener. Asmodor with the diamond. And so his point is the blacks rioted and tore up the city, threw a brick on a white trucker man's head. Was that Reginald Denny? I don't know. Reginald sounds like a black name. I don't know that stuff, but I just remember they were The blacks hated the whites. And you know who else was looting? The Hispanics. Degenerate. Anyways, that's the LA riots. I remember I lived, I would say, 22 minutes outside of LA, driving on the freeway. And we would get around 4 p.m., 6 p.m., maybe 8 p.m. I forget when the LA riots were. So, you know, come like twilight, a little before twilight, late afternoon, we would get smoke in our yard from the LA riots. Smoke in our yard in Temple City, south of Pasadena. Crazy, huh? Asmodor with the diamond. According to the FBI, most serial killers are black. Eat that, Maze. Asmodor with the diamond. Nobody rioted when O.J. Simpson got off. Yeah, the whites are peaceful. Too peaceful. And when I say too peaceful, I mean they're too nice. They're not for what's right. There's this saying, whites are nice until they're not. And that's not a positive thing. I mean, some people act like it's a positive thing, like, oh, we're going to rise up now. But no, we need to stand for what's right and fight. Be those old school white jerks, a-holes. Sorry, kids, but I had to say it. Who don't put up with mess. We need to go back to that. It'll be nice. Azador says, Joe gave a ninja guinea, says Joe Biden said, Caucasians will be a minority in the USA soon. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. An unrelenting flow of immigration until whites, people like me, were a minority. And that's a good thing. I can't even be as creepy as he really is. That's what's creepy about Creepy Joe. His disgusting anti-Americanness, anti-whiteness, anti-what's rightness. And he claims to be a Catholic. Psh. Fake Catholic. Thank you, guys. Let me just double check this stuff. Oh my gosh. Jib Jab says, wait for it. Thank you. Gary Glitter says, talk about that evil black in the old folks' home. Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you happen to have screenshots? I don't want to play the video. You don't have any screenshots? The black guy who was beating up the old white man in the rest home. It was trending on Twitter like crazy. I saw it on Telegram. Follow me on Telegram, Jesse Lee Peterson on Telegram, the Crypto Report and all them. Yeah, it's crazy. But there's this, was he a black guy? He had an afro as though he was black. Maybe he was upset because COVID prevented him from getting a proper haircut. And so his hair was a mess. But this guy was apparently maybe in a Detroit nursing home. And he really just beating up like he thought he was Muhammad Ali. Better known as Cassius Clay. He would have been better had he stayed Cassius Clay. But he was really messing up the, he just has videos. Well, yeah, it's evil. It's disgusting. Jesse Lee Peterson tweeted about it, by the way. Follow Jesse on Twitter, at JLP Talk. Follow me on Twitter, at The Hake Report, and at James Anton Hake. Appreciate the reminder, Gary Glitter. Hot Computer Smell says, oh, the stream's staying up. Ah, nice. King Alpha Nerd says, Hake and Wake. I figured out why you get dropped. The liars hate your monologues, and you aren't dropped when you argue with the blind. Yeah, I love the fact that my stream has not dropped while arguing with Earl. Blaze and Hog says, Ohio Senator Mike DeWine is drunk on power. He a rhino. He meant governor of Ohio, not senator. Ohio governor, Mike DeWine. Sounds like another rhino, yeah. Trump hater. Not So Purdy says, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black, says Joe Biden. And that's true. No, actually. I don't think that's true, Joe, because you have to be black on the inside and blind on the inside to be confused about that. If you're confused, it's ridiculous. You should be for Trump. Alejandro Davila says, great show, Hake. Can I get a forget you to start my weekend, man? Thank you, man. Forget you, but not really. So clean, so PG. There's some screenshots of this. I don't know what he is. He's mixed. Guy punching an old man in a nursing home. Thinking he talked like a black guy, that's for sure. He kept on calling the old white man an N-word. Inga. And old white man bleeded and he's saying, "Get off my fucking bed. Inga." Terrible. You know, Jesse Lee Peterson made the point that weakness brings out the worst in people. It makes people hate you. Like women hate weak men. So guys like this hate the weakness, not just the physical weakness of the man, but maybe something in his spirit brought out this evil from him. We have to blame both. We have to blame the victim so that maybe the victim can learn from it or others can learn from it. And we have to blame the perp, typically the black, right? You have to blame both. Otherwise, you don't learn. Otherwise, you end up being a ADL type. The ADL being the so-called Anti-Defamation League. Fear-mongering about people complaining about Jews. Meanwhile, you're just making people hate Jews more by being a complainer. The ADL, evil. They're the worst thing for the Jews. The ADL is. Those of you who are critics of Jewish people, tell me if the ADL makes you like Jews better. No, it does not. They're some of the worst people for Jews. Hot Computer Smell says, rap battle between Joel and Maze. Lin Yan Chin says, okay, and then I will get to your calls, guys. More white baby engineers, please. The innovation expands the carrying capacity of our environment. That's why globalism pushes them down, scarcity and suffering to drive depopulation. How's my stream, guys? My stream good? Press 1 if it's fine. Press 2 if it's really bad. Press 3 if it's just a little sketchy. 3 if it's buffering a little here and there. Thanks, guys. Let me get to these callers. Art in Ohio. What's up, Art?
All right, how you doing, buddy?
Doing fine. How are you?
All right. So I'm trying to get with you like 2 days ago, man. I was calling in for the, I think it's the Bible go-to guy.
Yeah.
So it was the day that you was talking about the fat white dude, and his wife was a reverend.
Oh yeah.
And you said.
Oh
you
yeah.
said that he need to take it easy on the. What you say on the meat? You said.
Crazy.
He said he was overloading on the meat.
Oh yeah. That's the guy that got the COVID. Okay, he's this Christian man, and he got the COVID. He was saying, "Oh, this looks like hysteria to me," and then he caught it because it hit him hard because he's unhealthy, and so is the wife. And yeah, gotta be. And I don't mean to clown the guy, but he is way too fat, and his wife honestly was too. It's not good.
No. That ain't clowning. No, he did himself like that. He ate himself into that way. He got to wear that, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't. That's a fact, man. You see what I'm saying? But no, what I wanted to say about this, you said something. You was like, man, I don't really typically know if they're evil or whatnot. Well, me logically thinking as a heterosexual male, alpha male, logically that any man that's letting a female be a reverend when the Bible says that a female ain't supposed to be, that already lets you know that you got an evil footy.
True.
So that already let me know that either I can't, yes sir, either I can't believe nothing.
I don't remember which day it was. Oh no, go ahead. I'm just asking Joel to pull up the pictures of this guy so that the viewers can know who we're talking about. Was it Thursday or Wednesday? It might have been.
Yeah. Hey man, I don't believe females just like be reverends and stuff. Them the first people that's red flags, and then when they overweight like that, and they also Christian and holy, them be the red flags, man.
Monday, couple got sick. Yeah, you're right. This man, young, I call him young, but he was 30s, 40s, with maybe even 50s, with a female Reverend.
Reverend.
Wife.
Man, you hold on. Now, you got
White.
2 strikes, buddy.
Yeah.
You got 2 strikes. First, your wife is a reverend. Then you up here looking like you don't ate all of Kroger's.
Yeah.
You don't
There
win
they are.
Kroger's and ate everything.
Right. They're wearing
Not-
their problem.
They're
Shame.
wearing their problem. But check this out. I'm talking to one of my
They look nice,
one of
but
our
she's a,
peop-
that's not a graduation uniform, people. That's her Reverend robe. She didn't just graduate.
She ain't just graduated. She graduated Satan Liberal School of Betas.
Yeah.
But check this out. I was talking to one of my friends earlier. Guess what they told me?
What's that?
Man, we over here quarantining. My people's got my girl got the COVID. The whole time I'm listening to him talk, I'm just over here, just not laughing at them because they got it, but just thinking in my head, these people are crazy. Like, you really think that I believe that you have the COVID? If anything, you got something because you overweight. His chicken,
Yeah.
a little bit. She got a little bit of weight on her. It's probably something that you eating or you doing that you ain't healthy. But she so-called working a nursing home. I still don't believe her because I'm one of these 2 dudes that I like to follow facts, and I've been following the Fox News and the facts that they've been as far as the numbers, and it ain't adding up. So I've been trying to tell him that. Now all of a sudden his girlfriend came up with COVID. Man, I don't believe you, man.
Right.
I don't, and if she do get it and I get it, oh well. If I died, then oh well, man. That was my fault. I was stupid, but
Right.
I don't believe it.
All
I'm
right.
getting tired of y'all. All right, well go ahead, man. Enjoy the rest of your show. I'll catch you in a little bit, buddy.
Thank you, Art. Appreciate you, man.
All right, buddy.
Take care. Asmodora with the diamond says he, referring to this suspect who attacked, allegedly, even though we just witnessed it on he recorded it on his own cell phone. This black guy, he says he's black, attacked an old white man and beat him bloody. Somebody said he may have been on the spectrum. He had a YouTube channel of him asking a nurse out at his work, and something's off about him, but that's evil. Hatred. That's hatred. It's not just autism. It's an insult to the autistic, right? to claim that they're going to get violent. No, it's the anger. Let me get to, you know what? Before I get to my second favorite caller, real quick, let me cover this story. This is from ABC News. Racism has been declared a public health crisis in Ohio's most populated county. The disparities have been underscored from the coronavirus pandemic by Ella Torres. Or is it Aya? And then they have this video, which Mays calls fake news, how the coronavirus pandemic is impacting Black Americans. And then they have, pictures of these poor blacks who are wearing their masks. But this is a resolution. In the what do you call it? The Franklin County, whatever, Board of Commissioners, right? Commissioners, Franklin County Commissioners, declaration of racism as a public health crisis. They say, whereas they have like a dozen or more whereases, whereas the Franklin County Board of Commissioners has a demonstrated track record of promoting racial equity, inclusion, and diversity in all aspects of county government. Wow, stay out of Franklin, huh? Franklin County, Ohio. Evil. Whereas race is a social construct with no biological basis, they say. And then they have a footnote. Whereas racism is a social system with multiple dimensions, individual racism that is internalized or interpersonal, systemic racism that is an institutional, structural, and blah, 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 blah. Unfairly disadvantages specific individuals, blah, blah, blah. All that mess. Whereas the Franklin County Rise Together blueprint noted Franklin County's African American, meaning black, residents experienced dramatically higher unemployment rates, which isn't evidence. Overall is 5.7%. African Americans, 11.1%. They're consistently like double the average, right? Black unemployment. Face a higher poverty rate as a community, that's their fault. Overall, 16.7%. African Americans, 29.9%. Have lower home ownership rates, again, their fault. They say Whereas the Franklin County Board of Commissioners stands with the residents of Franklin County, except for the whites. And honestly, they don't even stand for the POCs. They're just pretending to be their friends. Wolves in sheep's clothing, right? They declare declaration of racism as a public health crisis passed by declaration May 12th, 2020. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners. Who are these commissioners? I should have dug up their dumb pictures. Assert that racism is a public health, just this imaginary thing. I remember seeing, Joel, I mean, Nick looked too, but not that hard. Couldn't find them. Pictures of these Board of Commissioners. You know, I gotta open the treasure chest. I saw a billboard that said AIDS is a civil rights issue. It reminds me of that because, you know, it disproportionately affects the gays and probably the blacks too, right? Dumb. But, you know, these cities are being cucked and counties. Cucked means surrendered over to evil in the pretense of being for what's right. Let me go ahead and get to some calls. My second favorite caller, Earl, out of Michigan. What's up?
Oh, what's up?
Hey.
Mr. James the racist.
Are you calling to apologize?
You said that yesterday.
I did. It's becoming a tradition. And you're refusing to apologize is becoming a nasty pattern.
Well, why should I apologize to a vowed racist?
A vowed racist. Okay. Or avowed racist. Okay.
Yeah. I don't really want to respond to your ideological, stupidness.
Okay.
That basically T is right. You're just a stooge for Jesse.
Do you hate Jesse like T hates Jesse?
No, I don't hate him. I just criticize some of the things he say that I differ with. You classify that as hate.
No, I was asking the question because it's obvious that T is full of hate. He calls in nasty, thinking he's a Christian, and he's just full of spite and malice and judgment, looking down.
He just tells it like he sees it. He sees you.
I know, but Satan just told it like he saw it too.
Well,
nasty, full of hate. And he doesn't see. He's blind. He's blindly judging.
Well,
he's the one following a cult. And you know what? I heard you talking Christian talk with Jesse Lee Peterson yesterday. I got so jealous.
I'm gonna have to call you and Jesse Beavis and Butthead.
Nice. I'll take it. I never got to watch that show when I was that was one of the degenerating shows. Each step in more and more degeneration. I forgot about them. I can't even repeat the name.
But I have news for you.
Beavis and what's his name?
In the Ahmaud Arbery case.
Yeah.
They have arrested Roddy.
Yeah, they did. I saw that. They arrested the man who took the video. Charged him with murder, according to the headline. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah. No.
Injustice in this world.
They just found evidence that he was involved.
He was involved. He was taking the video. He was helping.
Yeah, he was also doing more than taking the video. That's what they found out.
What did they? I don't have time. We'll look into it. Appreciate the tip.
A compilation of other security films along the streets, and see that trace was more than just a straight shot to the.
It was interesting. I will say it was interesting how one was behind Ahmaud and the other guys were up front waiting for Ahmaud. That's interesting.
Yeah, he was.
I would like to hear this story. It's just kind of mildly interesting. Not that it's your business or my business, but
don't worry about those businesses.
these people are just so nosy. meddling in something that doesn't concern them.
None of the things you report on is your business, but you do it anyway.
I report on it because people like you tend to overreact to it and blame the white man and put no blame on the so-called victim, showing that you have no concern for neither the victim nor justice. You don't believe in actual justice. You're a phony, Earl.
I know you like to put spin with your racist cowardice.
Spinning with the truth, spinning for Christ. Well, let me not invoke Christ on this, but spinning for the truth.
But,
all right, I gotta go, Earl.
I know you gotta go, but
all right.
That chase lasted longer, up to four more minutes.
Okay, thanks.
He turned around twice, trying to escape the guys.
Right.
That's probably why he turned and fight. It was fight or flight.
And he should have just froze. He could have just surrendered. He could have surrendered.
No, he couldn't surrender.
I said surrendered.
You got Joe.
I gotta go, Earl. Have a good day. Bye, Earl. Aren't you gonna say adios? Adios, amigo. Asmodor says they probably got out and it was marked as COVID. I don't remember what we were talking about. Asmodor with the diamond. Earl celebrates whenever a white is arrested. However unjustly or we don't really know the situation. Yeah, very true. Donning Armor, Substitute Earl, Kenny out of Idaho. I'm sorry I cannot get to you guys. Call back on Sunday. I will be getting to calls on Sunday, 9 a.m. my time. I come on before Jesse Lee Peterson on Sundays because Jesse Lee Peterson is live online only. Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. This Sunday, we've been doing online only lately, guys. So make sure you check it out. Rebuildingtheman.com/church. The Fallen State, I believe. Yes, it is, right? Having a premiere, right? On YouTube, The Fallen State episode with that Michael Shermer guy. Oh, gosh. Dave Rubin loves him. Excuse me. All right, guys. TheHakeReport.com for my stuff. JLPtalk.com, which is also JesseLeePeterson.com/show. For Jesse Lee Peterson's radio show stuff. You can get the podcasts. He has both a full show podcast and the highlights podcast maintained by Joel. Very nice. All right, guys, take care.